Hello and welcome to this edition of Arlington Public News. I'm Michelle Marino.
And I'm James Milan for Paul Werlin.
At Arlington Public News, we bring you stories of interest to Arlington and surrounding communities. In tonight's newscast, we discuss 40B projects and what they might mean for Arlington. We bring you an update on the Mass Ave Rebuild project, and we speak to Middlesex District Attorney Marian Ryan upon her recent visit to Arlington High School.
Plus, we tell you about a Body-Mind Expo coming to town, and we congratulate the Dallin School Go Green team for being recognized at the State House. That and more up next. Stay with us.
The developers of the proposed project on the Mugar property presented their plans to the public. Oak Tree Development met with residents and neighbors of the planned 212-unit housing complex at a meeting on Thursday, May 21st at the Hardy School. Those opposed to the proposal include the Coalition to Save Mugar Wetlands, which fears that developing 7 of the 17 acres of open land by Route 2 will cause flooding problems. Oak Tree representatives say they respect the hydrological issues and value an open dialogue.
For a better understanding of what a 40B project is and is not, I sat down with Arlington's Town Council, Douglas Heim, to discuss what the process involves and what residents and our community can expect. Hello, I'm James Milan with Arlington Public News, and I'm here this morning to talk with Town Council Douglas Heim about the anticipated proposal that we have all been hearing about relating to the Mugar property, and more generally to talk about the 40B process that may be involved with developments on that property. So, Doug, thanks so much for coming in to talk with us today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
And this is a complicated issue for most of us. I would love it if you could just give us some grounding in what the 40B process is.
Generally, the Comprehensive Permit Act, Chapter 40B, was passed in 1969 for the purposes of encouraging construction of affordable housing. And the idea was to provide some means by which the unintended consequences, or mostly unintended consequences, of a lot of local regulations, including zoning, were making it difficult for developers to create affordable housing throughout the state. It was supposed to provide more flexibility for local zoning authorities to help encourage the development of affordable housing by relaxing some of the what can be expensive, not in every case, but what can be expensive local regulations. There's a sort of process to the 40B application that Zoning Board of Appeals here and everywhere else has some discretion to decide whether a project is appropriate or not appropriate, or whether it can be made appropriate with certain conditions, and that's what we will be focused on as the town's government. What happens in the Housing Appeals Committee, if it comes to that, should it get to that, is obviously something that we'll be thinking about and want to make sure that there's a really solid decision, whether it's obviously it probably wouldn't be appealed if it was approved, but the ZBA will have to weigh the evidence and make a decision based on the merits of these proposals. But whatever happens, I think that their focus will be on getting the decision right. 40B is an important tool, and I think that I've seen in the time that I've been here that folks in the government and in this community very much support affordable housing and feel like it's an important goal for this community to have. Not only is that codified in the master plan, but I think anybody who's spent time around Arlington has seen that that's been an important goal of the selectmen and a number of other bodies. Each individual case is going to be different, and we're all going to have to sort of sit tight in part, but also, in terms of the actual formal application process, but also, think carefully about what we want to see for the future of Arlington and what projects make sense and what projects aren't tenable in Arlington. Have an open mind where we can, but also be prepared to advocate for the things that we think are important.
For Arlington Public News and on behalf of Town Council Douglas Heim, I'm James Milan. Thanks for joining us.
The Housing Corporation of Arlington is looking for innovative ways to increase affordable housing in town. To learn more about some of the challenges eligible residents need to navigate through, APN news producer Yawa Degboy brings you this report. We want to thank the Arlington Advocate for partnering with us on this story.
The Arlington Housing Corporation talks to APN and the Advocate about the need for affordable housing.
Affordable housing has to be preserved for folks who make below a certain percentage, either 80% or 50% of the median income. And then it can count towards the official affordable housing in town. So I think the ratio in Arlington is about 5.5% to 6%. The Housing Corporation has about 90 units. I believe the Housing Authority, which is a different organization in town, has around 500 units of affordable housing. And there's, in the town as a whole, there's around 19,000 units.
Right now we have over close to 1,000 applicants on our waiting list for housing in our units of only 90 units. And anyone driving around town can certainly see the houses being knocked down and built up to multi-million dollar condos or townhouses, and it really limits the ability for a first-time homeowner or someone on a lesser income scale to be able to acquire and live in our town.
Because the competition has been so significant in the marketplace, we had to move away from buying residential properties. The property at 20 Westminster, which was originally a church, our plan is to make it 9 units of affordable housing, 3 of which will be fully wheelchair accessible.
This 40B project on Westminster Avenue is supported by the town. Officials are anticipating a 40B proposal by another developer for the Mugar site in East Arlington. Although the Housing Corporation is not taking position on the Mugar development, Halet provides more information.
Our concern is that we as an affordable housing agency can't really come out against development that will provide very needed affordable housing within the town. 40B is actually called a comprehensive permit that allows a developer to go into a community that may or may not support the development and gives the developer the right to have certain waivers for zoning in order to build the type of development they want to build.
The Housing Corporation is currently assisting 26 out of the 39 Brookside condominium households displaced by the fire that killed one on May 5th.
The 40% of these tenants were Section 8 tenants, so they had a very limited incomes, and trying to find a Section 8 housing in Arlington to use their voucher is a huge job. One of the things when we are making phone calls to the landlords and rental groups, many of them are discouraging taking the Section 8 vouchers because it does require a very strict guidelines of the inspections.
If people would like to donate to help the tenants from Arizona Terrace and the Brookside condominiums, you can go to housingcorparlington.org.
For Arlington Public News and The Advocate, this is Yawa Degboy.
You know, Michelle, I think all 3 of these pieces really show what the challenges are in our town. It's such a densely populated place.
Absolutely. There's been such tremendous growth, and it's great to see that there are programs, that there are some town initiatives that are there for eligible residents.
Yeah, I think more work has to be done, though,
Yes.
that's for sure.
Agreed.
The summer season brings road construction in many municipalities, and Arlington is no exception. The Mass Ave Rebuild in East Arlington is the most prominent project in town and was once the most debated. But as APN's Brenda Mahoney found out, few complaints are coming in at this point.
The long-planned and heavily debated Massachusetts Avenue Corridor Plan is in progress, but the anticipated traffic woes, so far, not there, as recently pointed out at a meeting held by MassDOT and project managers.
Now, while it's being rebuilt, obviously that's kind of a test as to what's going to happen. In fact, it's even worse than when it's finished. Have you found, or have you even looked into, whether or not there's been this result that everybody feared? Have people been using Summer Street? Have people been going through different neighborhoods that everybody was worried about? I personally haven't seen it.
I haven't seen anything different. My experience aligns with yours that things are pretty much as they were. When I first took this job on last spring, I thought to myself, I wonder how many calls I will process regarding cut-through traffic, and I have not processed a single one.
Repaving of the avenue from Pond Lane to the Cambridge line and a bicycle lane still a ways off. Right now, new traffic signals and sidewalk bump outs to make it safer to cross the wide avenue are the bulk of summer work.
Well, I think the main thing now is we're getting into the business district. So if you go down there right now in front of Restaurant Olivio or the barber shop and so on and so forth, those sidewalks are torn up. Maybe in about a month they're going to get to the Capitol Theater side. So that's a bigger impact to both the business owners and the patrons and the residents who go and use those businesses. So there's a little bit of crossing the street that has to be done.
So when you get to an area of the sidewalk like this that appears to be closed, you're supposed to cross the street and get to the other side. But some people say it may not be that clear, especially when the sign is found knocked over.
It's unclear, am I supposed to walk on the sand? Is there a place for me between the cars and the non-existent sidewalk? It needs to be really clear, this is the safe place for you to walk, for these few weeks while we're fixing the sidewalk.
I echo the concern about the zigzagging sidewalk. I've done it myself. I'm pretty in good shape, and I'm concerned about elderly people or less able people not either knowing what to do or trying to do that. It seems very dangerous to me.
Project managers were asked to look at putting barrels up along the sidewalk so people can stay on the same side of the street. No promises made. Project managers say each sidewalk section will take about 4 weeks start to finish. Well worth it in the end to this Mass Ave resident.
I've been going to the meetings since they started in 2010, and I've seen it go through a lot of different changes, and I think this final one will be really good with the bike lanes and increased safety at the intersections especially.
Brenda Mahoney, Arlington Public News.
District Attorney Marian Ryan visited Arlington High School to donate $500 to help defray expenses associated with ensuring that post-prom and graduation events remain substance-free. APN was there and spoke to Ms. Ryan and several students about what the money will help them accomplish.
For Arlington Public News, I'm James Milan here with DA Marian Ryan, who has just presented a check for $500 to Arlington High School. This is part of a program?
It is part of the program. It's a wonderful opportunity we have to take money that has been forfeited in drug cases and to be able to, as the statute permits it, use it for the opposite, for anti-drug, anti-substance type programs. So we applaud the school for having these programs, and we're happy to be able to make a donation.
Are there any other issues that the DA's office is planning to address?
Sure, we have really taken a multi-pronged approach to the issue of substance abuse. We do a lot of prevention and education. Some of that, which is seen here in the community, is we use some of these funds to provide the police department with the drug take-back boxes that are in the lobby so people can take their unused prescription medication, deposit them there. We've offered training to the officers there. We've also provided each of the cities and towns the opportunity to get doses of the nasal Narcan, which is useful in an opiate overdose. We're also out in the schools doing prevention and treatment programs and community forums.
Well, we very much appreciate the generous offers to help us make sure that we're safe during this time in our senior year where we're having a lot of fun events, getting ready to move on, and just making sure that we're, having the right things in mind.
How do you anticipate that this money is going to get used?
So for the prom, we breathalyze before entering, and so I think it'd probably be used to enhance that, and then also just education within the community.
Can you guys just explain what steps you're taking to ensure that everybody has the safest fun time they can on prom night?
Before the prom, we're having a promenade so everyone can come together at Arlington High School, and we're going to do a nice little walk around the school just so everyone's there together and everyone can just be safe.
In addition to that, we will be providing transportation to the Marriott Long Wharf in Boston and transportation to there and from, so that will keep the children safe. And when the children arrive at the high school, we will be waiting for parents to pick them up and so they get home safely.
What does this money and this grant mean to you?
Well, I think it acknowledges the importance of student safety around substances and nights and events like prom night or graduation. The Last Blast is a really important community event, and we really value the volunteers who do a lot to create an amazing event to have our students be safe for that night, and hopefully we can continue to expand those activities.
It's always a good idea, I think, for teenagers to be able to link fun and safety at the same time, so this should help.
Absolutely, and I think these opportunities get that message out to the parents and the community as well.
All right, well, thank you very much. On May 31st, Arlington High School will host the Natural Awakenings Mind-Body Experiential Expo. The event's aim is to create a greater awareness of the mind-body connection and offer resources to help individuals lead healthier, more balanced lives. APN spoke to one of the expo participants, as well as the publisher of Natural Awakenings Boston, a healthy living publication serving the greater Boston area, about what drives them and what they hope to accomplish for themselves and others.
On May 31st, Arlington High School will host the Natural Awakenings Mind-Body Experiential Expo. We're happy to speak with the creator of this event and publisher of the magazine Natural Awakenings Boston, Maisie Raftery, as well as Arlington resident and prominent contributor to the magazine, Kim Childs. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, we'll get right to it. Maisie, how did you conceive an expo like this, and when did it all begin?
I saw the film, The Connection, back in October when it premiered in Brookline. And after the film, it happens to be a film that's all about mind-body medicine. And one of the first questions of the panel after the film was, did you have any plans for other ways to connect people with the various mind-body things that we learned about in the film? And she didn't have any plans for that. I immediately connected and said, that's exactly what Natural Awakenings does. We connect our readers with all different kinds of mind-body practitioners and natural resources in the area.
How did this begin, and did you co-create it?
Well, Natural Awakenings has been in publication since the late 90s, I believe. It's headquartered in Florida, but it's franchised around the country. And I've been writing for them since about 2005 or 6 as a writer and editor. And then I heard through the grapevine that there was going to be one in Middlesex County, and Maisie was going to be the publisher. So I reached out to her and said, I'm a writer-editor for the magazine already. Do you need some help? And she said, oh yeah.
Yes,
I know
thank you.
nothing about publishing. And long story short, it's been 4 years plus since the first edition came out, and it expanded from Middlesex County to Boston.
What is the main focus of the event that's going to happen at Arlington High School?
The main focus will really be the experiential portion, where people will be able to get to experience a variety of different mind-body modalities. So after the film, we'll have a panel discussion, and then people will move on to be able to pick which modalities they want to try out. So there'll be 45-minute sessions throughout the afternoon, 35 in total, and they'll be able to go to up to 5 different workshops if they attend for the whole day, and up to 4 different workshops if they attend just for the afternoon.
Great. And I think we have a special offer for these viewers.
Oh, that's right, we do. If someone goes in to purchase tickets on Eventbrite, they'll be able to use the code APN10 for $10 off, either a full-day ticket or a half-day ticket.
We want to thank Maisie Raftery and Kim Childs for coming in to talk with us today about the Natural Awakenings Mind-Body Experiential Expo. Don't forget that it will take place at Arlington High School on May 31st from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Sounds like a great way to spend some time on a Sunday afternoon. For Arlington Public News, I'm Akriti Jagmohan.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a martial art that focuses on leverage, technique, agility, coordination, and balance. It's a healthy and fun way to increase cardio endurance, burn fat, and build muscle. The Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Academy is moving from 965 Mass Ave to 26 Mass Ave in East Arlington, and they want to invite their students and the community to what they are calling a grand reopening on Saturday, June 13th. APN visited the school to learn about this local business and the martial art itself.
Mike, tell me a little bit about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, specifically the place we have here, and what you guys have got going on.
Yeah, we've been in Arlington for about 3 years, teaching primarily Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. We also teach
kickboxing, no-gi, which is more what we call like submission grappling. The goal is to start on the feet with your partner, somehow bring it to the ground, and look to work towards the submission hold so that you end the match by your opponent tapping out or quitting or giving up. So that's the goal of jiu-jitsu, is to more or less remove their ability to have offense, so that it's almost, if you think about it in terms of chess, you win when you have them in what's called like a checkmate.
I kind of always wanted to do it. Could never find a school for a lot of my life, since UFC 1 back in the early 90s. And I moved to Arlington about 2 years ago and started here immediately. It's a great workout. You meet really cool people, really interesting people you can't help but get really close with because you're rolling around on the ground with them. So yeah, it's a good community, and it's a little bit of self-defense as well. So actually a good bit of self-defense.
It's just so interesting and so complex, and there's so much to learn. And I love the fact that it's leverage based. It's not strength based. Obviously, I'm small, so being paired up with someone who's bigger than I am, but if I do the techniques properly, they work, and I just think that's fascinating. People confuse it with other martial arts. That's pretty common. People think it's karate. It's also associated with MMA. It's one of the sports that often gets mixed in mixed martial arts, and they think there might be punching or kicking, and there's no punching or kicking. So it's all different types of joint locks and things like that. Well, everyone's great. It's a great community of people that are really supportive. But it's fun. It's fun when the techniques work. It's pretty cool. So it makes me feel 10 feet tall.
I know sports have been a big part of both of our lives up to this point, and I have to say that looks very intriguing to me, that use of leverage, etc.
Same here. I don't know that I'd be very good at it, but I think it's a useful tool. I think you can find a lot of uses, self-defense, obviously, and it's an important.
Maybe something for each one of us to
Right.
explore at some point in the future. I recently caught up with Arlington High School senior and standout athlete Frank Roach. Roach was selected as the recipient of the MIAA Student Athlete of the Month Award for March 2015. The award is given monthly to both a male and female student athlete who display excellence in the areas of academics, athletics, and community service. Roach is not only a member of the football, basketball, and baseball teams, but serves as team captain in all three sports. Arlington High School Athletic Director Melissa Dugolecki says Frank sets the standard for high school athletes through his commitment to all three of his varsity sports. Hi everybody, this is James Milan with Arlington Public News, and I am here today with Frank Roach, a graduating senior from Arlington High School, but we're talking to him for a number of reasons besides the fact that he's graduating. We'll congratulate you for that as well.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
But Frank is a three-sport athlete at Arlington High School and is the recipient of the MIAA, in other words, statewide Student Athlete of the Month award for March of this year. And you don't usually get an award like that without having the cred to do so. So tell us, first of all, what are the sports that you have been playing and, in fact, captaining on these squads?
So throughout my 4 years at Arlington High, I've played football, basketball, and baseball.
All 4 years?
Yep.
3 seasons
Yep.
all 3 seasons every year?
Yep, started freshman year and kept going all the way through my senior year.
As far as I understand the award, though, that we're talking about here, it is not just athletics that gets you that award. It's a student athlete award. So does this mean that you have also been a serious, I assume it does mean you've been a serious student throughout your 4 years at Arlington as well?
Yeah, I definitely take academics really seriously. My parents have stressed that ever since I was a little kid. They always say, do your best and God will do the rest. So I try my best in the classroom and on the field.
So where are you going to be heading from here?
I'll be going to Tufts University in Medford, so I'm really excited about that.
That's great, not too far from home, and that's all right for you?
Yeah, it's like 15 minutes away, so I can come home every now and again to get a home-cooked meal from my mom.
Absolutely. What do you plan to do in terms of sports while you're at Tufts?
Yeah.
Any commitments to play one or the other or all three at this point?
Nah, I'm just sticking to one next year. I'll be playing football there.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really excited about that. I know one other kid on the team. He's from Arlington, and he loves it there, so I'm definitely excited to get there and hopefully make a difference.
I did want to follow up on that community service component of the Student Athlete of the Month Award. They emphasize that as they do your academics. What does community service mean to you? What are the kind of things that you've been doing over your years at the high school?
Yeah, community service is definitely huge for me. It's something my mom got me involved in at a young age. She was the head of the LINKS program, which linked like middle school kids with elderly citizens. You help out with yard work and whatnot. So it's definitely something I enjoy, actually. And it's also just a way to get, we usually do community service events as a team, so it's a good team building exercise, and it's a good way to connect with the community and get outside of the Arlington High School area and just connect with Arlington.
For Arlington Public News with Frank Roach, I'm James Milan. Thanks for joining us.
The Dallin School Go Green team was recognized at a ceremony at the State House on May 11, 2015. APN visited members of this special group of youngsters to find out what Go Green means to them. We want to thank Charlotte Milan and Eileen Coleman for contributing to this segment.
I'm Erin Dixon here at the Dallin Elementary School with 5th grade members of the Go Green Club here at the elementary school. Guys, tell me, where did this idea for this club begin?
When I was in 3rd grade, I read this book about the Go Green Club, and it was just inspiring to help me, get the club going, and then I got it with the principal and Eileen and Charlotte, which are the helpers.
So what do you guys do at your school here?
We clean up. We clean up. We talk about new things that could help the school go green. Our slogan is Be Bright, Power Down. And we do the garden that's over there.
Right over there.
Yeah, we plant flowers and help it grow.
I think green really means like when you were younger, you used to read books about how people are destroying the earth, and you used to really want to stop it, but you were younger and you really thought you couldn't do anything about it. But once you really get older, you find that you as a person can really do something like this. Like Robbie here, he made a green club all by himself.
I just started to notice things more. I'll see more houses with solar panels, I'll see a turbine, and then I started to notice more impactful things. I'll notice factories, I'll notice gas stations and stuff, and I'm thinking about different things in a more is this green, is this not green?
I have actually been working at my garden at home a lot since I've joined the Green Club. So we put up this giant net that we planted cucumbers and peas and all sorts of yummy stuff.
What's your next project? Where do you go from here?
We're gonna go to Audison. We have siblings. We hope that we'll keep on going even when we're not here. Yeah, and then our next activity is still planting. I think maybe next week I might go somewhere our whole Green Club might go somewhere else.
On behalf of the Dallin Elementary School Green Club and Arlington Public News, I'm Erin Dixon.
What a great and impressive group of youngsters we just saw. I think it's also inspiring to know that the next generation coming down the pipeline is environmentally conscious.
That's right, and clearly you dressed accordingly in support thereof.
Absolutely.
So well done, Michelle.
Go Green. Arlington Public News is a production of Arlington Community Media and functions as a gateway for local participation in issues and events of interest to the community.
Check out our latest segments on the web at news.acmi.tv and like us on Facebook. Join us next time for another edition of Arlington Public News. I'm James Milan.
And I'm Michelle Marino. See you next time.